So once again, either beginning in constructive rest or in Shavasana, you get to choose. And take this time to be really comfy as we begin our practice together this morning. Make sure the back of the neck is nice and long to the earth or your pillow. You might draw the chin down just a little bit so the base of the skull lengthens. And allow the weight of your body to soften back even more. Allowing the earth to hold you, to receive you. And take this time to begin to really let go here. You might notice any area you might be tensing or holding consciously, subconsciously. And give that back into the earth. Surrendering here. Bringing your attention to the sounds around you. I have my door a little open, so I hear the birds outside. Notice the sound of the space. And just notice if you can hear the sound of your heart as it beats. You might even rest your hands there if you like. Begin to place the sound of the breath in the back of the throat, coming right into your Ujjayi pranayama, your yogic breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through a closed mouth. Back of the throat is slightly constricted. So there is this brushing or wave-like sound at the back of the throat. Our vagus nerve runs right through the throat. So beginning right here to pacify vagus nerve in our practice this morning today. Without a sense of forcing or pushing. Simply hearing that wave-like sound on both the inhale as well as the exhale. Nice and easy. You might even find a little pause at the top of the inhale and a pause at the bottom of the exhale. Allowing this to be a little exploration here. You might even notice if something happens at the bottom of your exhale. Noticing how the navel draws in and up. Once again, if this feels forced or stressed, soften it, do less. Keep more of a smooth rhythm, totally fine. Just another breath or two, just like that. And the next time you exhale, we'll find a resting breath. I like to bring my hands to stack at my heart. And take this moment to call to mind your heartfelt intention or dedication for your practice, your day, or out to someone whose birthday it is, perhaps. Good. And we'll sing a very soft Om sound together. You're welcome to sing or to listen. First, a breath together. Take a nice inhale. And sigh it out. Inhale. If your legs are extended long, very slowly bend your knees. And let's go ahead, hug the knees in. Give them a good hug. You might rock a little bit from side to side. Good. And then we'll slide your hands to your kneecaps, fingers face the toes, Apanasana. Inhale, knees move forward, arms lengthen. Exhale, bend your elbows, hug your knees in or wide. Again, inhale, knees move forward, arms lengthen. Exhale, hug your knees in. Let's do this one or two more times, nice and easy. We'll start to make circles with the knees, putting a little WD-40 in the hips. You might consider keeping the big toes glued together. And then circling in the opposite direction, nice and easy. Okay. And then once you feel even, we'll set the feet back down to the earth, 1 foot at a time. Tailbone is lengthening towards your heels. And let's reach the arms up towards the ceiling. The palms will turn towards one another. Allow the arm bones to soften down into their sockets. And we'll bend the elbows, catch hold of opposite elbows here. And you're welcome to drop your knees together, even widen your feet here if that feels like you're not holding in your legs. We'll take a nice inhale when you're ready. As you exhale, glide both elbows to the right, a little bit or a lot of it. And then inhaling through center. And exhale over to the left. And go back and forth, nice and easy. So inhaling center. And exhale, elbows right. Maybe the head rolls to the right. And inhale, center. Exhale, elbows left. Maybe the head comes along for the right. And going back and forth, nice and easy. As we continue to move in this way, just an option to switch the crossing of the elbows here. Just a couple more breaths. And then And the next time you come to center, pause. If you haven't switched the crossing, you might do that here. And if it feels okay, see what it feels like to bring the arms back towards the blanket or the earth behind you. If that doesn't feel okay, keep the arms lifted towards the ceiling. Draw your front ribs a little bit towards your back ribs. Take a nice inhale here. And then as you exhale, circle over to the right. And then down towards the pelvis. And then over to the left. And inhale up and overhead. So nice circles here. And as you continue, the circles can be small, maybe more towards the ceiling. Or they might be nice and big. One's not better. Good. Beautiful. You might reverse the hold of the elbows. And you might reverse the direction of the circles. And so waking up all that musculature around the back of the heart. Good. Just a few more breaths, just like that. And then when you feel even, we'll slide the arms out like the letter T. Palms will face the ceiling. Knees right over your ankles. You might re-lengthen your tailbone. We'll take a little pause here. If the arms out doesn't feel good, you're welcome to slide them down. So as we soften back, we'll do a little rocking of the bowl of the pelvis. So as you inhale, allow the belly to expand, lumbar spine to lift a little bit. And as you exhale, allow the low back to soften towards the earth. Maybe the tip of the tailbone lifts a little bit. Inhale down into the belly, low back lifts, lumbar lifts. And as you exhale, as the navel draws towards your spine, the low back softens back. Good. And continuing this nice easy rocking of the bowl of the pelvis here. Good. And the next time you exhale, we'll bring the pelvis back into a little more neutral. And we'll widen the feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. Outer edges of your feet in line with the outer edges of your mat. Take a nice inhale here. As you exhale, both knees to the right, please. And then inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the left. And inhale, center. We'll add the head in the neck. So exhale, knees right, head rolls to the left. Inhaling back to center. And exhale, knees left, head right. And inhale, center. We'll add on a little bit. Exhale, knees right. Roll your left palm down towards the earth. Turn your gaze to the left. Inhale, everything center. Exhale, knees left. Right palm rolls down. Good. Inhale, center. And continuing that exploration just like that. So right now, my left shoulder is rolling forward and down as my palm rolls down, switching sides. So you might keep with the palm or the shoulder rolling forward and down, or you might reverse the direction of the roll. The palm might roll back and down. It's a little bit different, right? Always makes me yawn. So my palm is rolling back and down towards the wall behind me. Good. Great. You might even come a little bit higher to your fingertips, finger pads. I love this movement for the nervous system. A few more breaths here. Oh, good. Great. Do one more breath on either side. Really enjoying that movement here. Good. And then when you are done with a nice neutral pelvis, we'll stretch the legs forward towards a wall in front of you. You might even give them a little bit of a wiggle here. We'll take a little pause. Allow the body to be received here. Waiting for everyone. And we'll begin to warm up the hips a little more here, getting a little more into the low body, working a little differently than we sometimes do, so listen carefully. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, invite the navel to softly draw towards your spine. On an inhale, hover your right leg and begin to bend your right knee out to the right, almost like a little tree pose. As you exhale, bring the knee across the body, a little bit or a lot of it. You might stay here, or stretch the leg out to the left, a little or a lot, and then bicycle the heel all the way back down, and just let it flop once you get at the bottom. Good. Other side, inhale, left leg lifts. Bend that left knee towards your left pinky. And as you exhale, glide the knee across the body. You might stay here or reach the leg out to the left. And then bicycle that heel all the way back. And then just allow the leg to flop. Good. Again, other side. Inhale, right leg lifts. Bend the knee. As you exhale, glide the knee across the body. Maybe the leg extends. Feel free to keep the knee bent or soft. And then bicycle the heel all the way back. And just allow that leg to flop. And keep going nice and easy at your rhythm. Going back and forth. You're welcome to add extra breaths here or to do less. Good. Really pressing out through that heel as you bicycle that leg all the way back down. Let's do one more each side. And when you're done, you rest. Okay. One knee at a time, bend your knees. And as your feet plant down, we'll rest here just a few more breaths. Arms can be wherever feels good here. And as the knees are bent, back of the neck is long, trace a line from the back of the heart to the brain stem, coming into what we call Jalandhara Bandha, or a little bit of a throat lock here. If it feels too much, do less. So tracing a line from the back of the heart to the brain stem. Allow the bones of the skull to keep softening back. And notice how the chin draws back a bit here. Just allowing this to be breathed, to feel this sensation. And we'll explore this momentarily upright. So noticing it here. Right. So when you are ready, nice and slow, we'll roll to rest on your right side in a fetal shape, pausing there. Maybe that upper arm is under the head. And then find your way into a tabletop position. Hands and knees position on the mat. Please take your time. I'm having my blocks near the sides of my mat. You won't need them quite yet, but you might need them later. So arriving into a tabletop position, if you need to pad your knees, you do. And once again, right here, can you trace that imaginary line from the back of the heart to the brainstem? So the head's not dropping down or the chin's not jutting forward. The back of the skull is pressing up towards the ceiling as the chin draws down towards the top of the chest. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, sit the hips back into child's pose. We'll do a little flow here. Inhale, draw yourself forward, Jalandhara Bandha, up into the last moment, and then gaze forward, a little back bend here, cow pose. And then as you exhale, Jalandhara Bandha, reach your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Continuing just like that, inhale, draw forward, Jalandhara Bandha to the last moment, you might gaze forward. And then tuck the chin, reach the hips back towards your heels, child's pose. And continuing just like that at your rhythm, your breath. Eyes can be closed, eyes can be open. You choose. Good. Allowing this to be a bit of a moving meditation. Good. Let's take one more. And on the next time, hips to heels, we'll pause there in a little bit of a child's pose shape. Allow the hips to be really heavy here. Rest. If the forehead doesn't comfortably meet the earth, you might stack your hands under your forehead. Good. And then reach your arms forward. Once again, inhale, Jalandhara Bandha, up into the last moment. And this time, curl your toes under, reach your hips up and back, downward facing dog. On an inhale, lower to hands and knees, Jalandhara Bandha, up into the last moment, reach your heart forward. And then Jalandhara Bandha, slide your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So that's our second little flow here. Again, inhale, tabletop, Jalandhara Bandha to the last moment, gaze forward. And then tuck the chin, slide your hips up and back, downward facing doggy. We'll do this one more time. On an inhale, tabletop, slide forward, gaze forward. And then curl your chin, reach your hips up and back, dog, and we'll stay and breathe. If you need to lengthen your dog, please walk your feet back a little bit. You might walk it out, bending one knee at a time. If dog doesn't serve you, come back down to tabletop, or you might continue one of those flows. And beginning to settle in here to your dog. Knees can be soft. Tops of your thigh bones reaching up and back. And what would it feel like, just for curiosity, to lengthen the very tip of the tailbone down towards your heels here? Breathe. Good. And then softening your knees, let's take a very slow walk forward to the top of your mat. I'll meet you in a forward fold, feet hip bone distance apart, or maybe wider if that feels better. Allow the upper body to drape down. And as the feet root, keep the knees a little bit soft. Climb your hands up to your shins or thighs. Inhale, halfway rise. Jalandhara Bandha up into the last moment. Back of the neck is long. And then exhale, fold back in. Do that again. Inhale, halfway rise. Back of the neck is long. So think Jalandhara Bandha as the spine lengthens here. Exhale, fold back in. Good. One more time. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, bow back in. And this time we'll rise all the way up. Inhale, rise up. Jalandhara Bandha up into the last moment. Then lift your gaze. You might look up. And we'll exhale, pull your hands to your heart. Samastitihi. Good. Reset your feet if you need to. Finding Tadasana at the top of your mat. Hands at your heart. As your feet anchor down, rise tall to the crown of your head. Let's take an inhale through your nose, please. And out the mouth, ocean sound. Closing the lips softly. On your next inhale, widen your arms out to the sides, palms open. As you exhale, bring it back to the heart. On an inhale, stretch your arms around, down and up, or forward and up. You choose. We did it differently last week. And as you exhale, bow forward all the way down to the earth or blocks. On an inhale, halfway rise, Jalandhara Bandha. Back of the neck is long. Exhale, bow back in. Root down to rise. Inhale, come all the way up. Jalandhara Bandha up into the last minute. And then the lift, gaze lifts. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Great. Let's repeat that. Inhale, open, expand. Exhale, back to the heart. Good. On an inhale, reach your arms up. You're welcome to seal your palms. And as you exhale, bow forward all the way down you go. Inhale, halfway rise. So think Jalandhara Bandha, back of the skull pressing up. Exhale, bow back in. Root down to rise. Inhale, come all the way up. Gaze up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Just one more time. Inhale, open, expand. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, bow forward all the way down you go. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, fold. Root down to rise. Inhale, come all the way up. Stretch up, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Relax your arms down. Once again, I'm going to recommend having those blocks at the top of your sticky mat. On an inhale, breathe your arms up. As you exhale, bow forward all the way down you go, please. On an inhale, halfway rise. And as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step your right leg back. And we're going to pivot your right heel flat, heel to heel alignment, and hop that foot in a little bit. So we're about 3 feet apart in our legs. We're not quite a legs distance. I recommend using blocks. This is fairly early in the practice still. We're going to get a little bit into the hamstrings, but that's not the purpose of this shape today. So that front knee might stay fairly bent, or you might begin to straighten or lift the front of the leg up. Keep the spine nice and long here. I'm coming high in my fingertips here, or really on my blocks. Take a nice inhale. You're welcome to stay here, or as you exhale, soften in. If this feels too much on your low back, please keep the spine parallel to the floor, or bend your front knee forward. Totally cool. So what would it feel like here to draw your left sitting bone towards your right sitting bone? To draw your left sitting bone towards your right sitting bone. You might notice something happen in your lower belly. A little exploration of our first bandha, Mula Bandha here. If you don't feel that, you might keep the spine nice and long. Find that Jalandhara Bandha as well. Left sitting bone towards the right sitting bone. Breathe. Good. Great. And then with your next inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, bend your front knee forward and we'll step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Let's do that once again. Inhale, halfway rise, hands to blocks or shins. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, fold, stay low, bend your knees, plant your hands, step your left leg back. And this time we'll pivot left heel flat, heel to heel or wider. And we'll hop that back foot in. So once again, about 3 feet apart. If it looks like your feet are intersecting, please widen your right foot a little bit to the right. Now as that right buttocks reaches up and back, left buttocks forward, you might begin to take some of the bend out of your front knee, just an option. Lengthen your spine, find Jalandhara Bandha, take a nice inhale, you might stay right here. Or as you exhale, bow in. Roll or begin to hug your right sitting bone towards your left sitting bone. If nothing happens in your low belly, once again, consider keeping your spine longer here, Jalandhara Bandha engaged. And try not to lock out your knees. Breathe. Okay. With your next inhale, re-lengthen your spine. Bend your front knee forward very slowly. Step forward to the top of your yoga mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Do that one more time. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, fold. This time we'll rise all the way up. Keep Jalandhara Bandha. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. The last moment, we'll gaze up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Samastitihi. On an inhale, reach your arms up, please. As you exhale, bow forward, all the way down you go. On an inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, downward facing doggy, please. Downward facing dog. Good. Let's inhale your right leg up and back. You can also come down to a tabletop position and do the same thing here. As you exhale, bend your knee in towards your chest, come high into your back toes and step that right foot through into a runner's lunge. If it doesn't make it, give it a little help. You are human. We'll lower that back knee down here. You might keep your hands on the earth or on blocks, or begin to scissor your feet together and climb your hands up to your front knee. Make sure your back knee is happy, please. You might slide a blanket under that knee or scooch the knee back a little bit so you're not sitting right on it, although we will play a little bit with this. So from here, scissor your feet together and relax your arms down, and we'll even press a little bit out of it. So I know I just said not right on that knee, but see what it feels like. Instead of lunging in here, to come a little bit out of the shape, relax your arms down. You're welcome to flatten that back foot here. On an inhale, reach your arms up, look up. You can soften forward. And then as you exhale, press it out of it, lower the arms, Jalandhara Bandha, and find a little soft lift at the floor of the pelvis. Good. Inhale, come on in. Gaze up. And as you exhale, press out. At the bottom of the exhale, find that little lift of Jalandhara Bandha at the base of the pelvis. Again, inhale, come on in. And exhale, come on out. So if you don't feel that totally cool, find a little bit of a pause at the bottom of the exhale. Good. Great. Let's take 2 more. And 1 more. Inhale, come on in. Let's stay here. And as you exhale, lower your arms all the way down. Curl your back toes under, pick up that knee, and we'll send this right leg up and back to 3-legged dog. If it feels too much, set the foot down. You might stay here. You might bend the knee, stack the hip. You might take some circles here if that feels good. In both directions. When you're ready, reach that leg back. We'll set the foot down. Lower the knees down. Child's pose. Really rest here. Really rest. So once again, as we prepare for the second side, option to move through a tabletop or to come into downward facing dog with me. So when you are ready, I'll meet you either in dog or tabletop. On an inhale, breathe your left leg up and back. On an exhale, bend the knee in, come behind the ball of your right foot, step that foot through. If it doesn't make it, give it a little help. We'll lower that back knee down, scissor the feet together. You might stay here or walk your hands up to your front thigh. Good. I always take a little peek back at my lower leg to make sure it's right behind the knee, unless you are bow-legged, in which case it's going to look different. Great, good. So from here, come a little bit out of the shape. The tailbone is basically, or the buttocks flesh is lengthening towards the back of that right knee. Relax your arms down. We'll breathe in and out. The back foot might flatten here if you like. On an inhale, reach your arms up. Lift the chin up at the final moment. And as you exhale, lower the arms down, Jalandhara Bandha. Bottom of the exhale, little lift of the floor of the pelvis. Inhale, come on in. And that could be really subtle or simply breathe in and out, softer, totally fine. I don't want it to feel stressful, right? Inhale, come on in. And exhale, come on out. Soft lift of the floor of the pelvis. 2 more. Inhale, come on in. And exhale, come on out. Next time we'll stay, so inhale, come on in. As you exhale, lower your arms forward and down, curl your back toes under, pick up the knee. We'll send this left leg up and back, 3-legged dog if that feels okay. You'll bend that knee, you might stack the hip. You might take some circles here. And then re-square that leg, re-square the hip if that's you. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, lower the knee down. Pardon me, lower the foot down, lower the knees down. Child's pose. Rest here. You might rock the forehead a little bit from side to side. And then with your arms reaching forward, on an inhale, come back to that tabletop position, Jalandhara Bandha to the last moment, and then lift your gaze. Exhale, hips to heels. We'll do that again. Inhale, bring yourself forward. Jalandhara Bandha to the last moment. Exhale, hips to heels. And this time, inhale, come forward, Jalandhara Bandha to the last moment. And then Jalandhara Bandha, curl your toes, reach your hips up and back, downward facing doggy. So one more little piece of our standing series here. Breathe your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step the foot through. One more time. Lower that back knee down. We've been here before. Scissor your feet together. Climb your hands up to your front thigh. And allow your heart to rise here. Good. So I want to give the option of staying here. You might even come back to where we were before. Otherwise, we'll turn this into a twist. So I want you to back a little bit out of the shape, right? Bring your hands to your hips. Flesh the buttocks, lengthening towards the back of that left knee. We'll inhale, breathe your left arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, turn to the right, lower that hand down to the outer knee. You might stay here or roll your heart to the right. And keep wrapping that outer right hip down towards the earth. You might stay there, you might reach that arm back. Keep that spine nice and long. You're welcome to soften in. Karen, please be mindful here. If you feel any pulling in your low back, please do less. Keep the spine nice and tall here, please. Just one more breath. As you exhale here, navel towards your spine, back a little bit out of the shape. Unwind your arms. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, unwind, downward facing doggy, please. Take an inhale through your nose. And sigh it out. Second side, inhale, left leg breathes up and back. On an exhale, step it through. If it doesn't make it, give it help. Lower that back knee down, scissor your feet, and walk yourself up. Good. Keep rolling that outer left hip down, or think about hugging that left sitting bone towards your right sitting bone. There's that lift of the floor of the pelvis here. Bring your hands to your hips. And we'll breathe that right arm up. As you exhale, turn to the left, lower that arm down. Broaden your collarbones. You might stay here, or an option to reach that arm back. Keep the spine nice and tall, and then maybe you begin to bend the front knee. Any pulling in your low back, do less. Breathe. Outer left hip rolling towards the earth. Or left sitting bone to your right sitting bone. Good. One more breath. Nice inhale. Nice exhale, navel towards your spine. Very slowly unwind. Inhale, breathe your arms up, look up. And as you exhale, unwind, downward facing dog. Final time here. If you like a vinyasa, we haven't done that yet. You're welcome to move through a vinyasa. We will do some back bending, I promise. When you feel ready, you'll lower down to child's pose. Give the wrists a little bit of a circle here, a little release. Good. And then slide your hands back towards your knees, round yourself up to sit. And in a moment, we're going to make our way onto our back for a little exploration of bridge. I do have a block reachable here. I really like to use the block for this practice between my upper inner thighs, but I leave that to you. So take your time to lie all the way back. I am not a fan of a pillow here. If you need a very low pillow, it's fine. I just want to really explore the bandhas here, and if the head is really lifted, it's not going to allow for that Jalandhara Bandha. So just an option here, once again, to take that block between your upper inner thighs. Arms alongside the body. The fingertips might even graze the heels. Ankles right under your knees here. Resisting the urge to turn your head to watch here, so just listen. Come back to that breath, that nice Ujjayi pranayama. Settling in, softening back. With your next inhale, breathe your arms up and back towards the floor behind you. As you exhale, draw your navel towards your spine. On an inhale, lift your hips up. Keep the hips lifted. Exhale, lower just the arms, please, all the way down. Shoulders tack back. Take an inhale, back of the heart lengthens towards the wall in front of you or towards the wall behind you. Exhale, roll yourself down. You know what I mean. All the way down you go. Let's take a breath here. Nice inhale. And a nice exhale. And we'll repeat that. So inhale, arms reach up and back. As you exhale, navel towards your spine. You might notice something happen on your block. Inhale, lift your hips up. As you exhale, lower the arms down. Keep the shoulders tacking back. Take an inhale, grow longer. And as you exhale, roll it down vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down. Good. Take a breath here. Take a nice inhale. Take a nice exhale. We'll play a little bit here. Listen carefully. Inhale, both arms up and back. Stay for your exhale. Navel draws in and up. On an inhale, float your hips up. As you exhale, lower the arms down. Keep the shoulders tacking back. Listen carefully. Take a full breath here. Nice inhale. Stay for your exhale. All the breath out. When you are empty, roll yourself down, vertebrae by vertebrae. I like to come high into my toes. All the way down you go. And then we'll rest. Nice full inhale. We'll do that again momentarily, but take this time to rest. So that holding out of the breath really engages Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, that navel in and up, which we've played very softly with today, and Jalandhara Bandha. Vagus nerve travels right through these energy centers. So we'll start with the breath together. We'll do that again. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. On an inhale, arms sweep up and back. Stay for your exhale. Navel draws in and up. Notice Jalandhara Bandha here. Hug your block. Inhale, lift your hips. As you exhale, lower the arms down. Shoulders stay tacking back. A full breath here. Nice inhale. Exhale all the breath out. And when you're empty, roll yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae. I like to lift my heels. Just an option. And then we'll rest. Nice full breath. And you'll play with it one more time on your own or rest. Good. When you are done, you can move that block if you have it. And you'll hug the knees in, coming into a happy baby pose. Your favorite happy baby. You might hold the backs of your thighs or your feet, or your toes in yogi toe lock. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then bend your knees and You're going to cross your right knee over your left knee. If you need to set your feet back to the earth to do that, you can. But right knee right over your left knee, coming into what we call Gomukhasana legs. Catching that knee, if that feels okay. If this does not feel good, you might come back to that windshield wipers that we played with earlier. Kind of set this pose up here. So seeing how this feels in your body, your knees. You might stay here for more sensation. Flex your feet and slide your hands down towards your ankles and draw the heels a little more towards your buttocks and breathe. You can play a little bit with the angle of the feet just to make sure it feels yummy in your body. Breathe. Nice long exhales. And as we prepare for a twist, I want to give the option of keeping the knees crossed here. If you want to be a little more gentle with yourself, unwind to happy baby and then hug your knees in. Reach the arms out like the letter T. And we'll send the hips on the exhale up and over to the left. I like to move my hips a little bit to the right. You might even roll all the way to your left side if that feels good to really set up the pose. Hips stacking. And then reopen that right arm. So if this feels too much, please unwind your legs, stack your knees. Breathe. Arm, hand, nice and heavy here. Good. Great. And 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Either both knees together or unbind the legs, one knee at a time. Come on up. Set the feet down, hug your knees in. Let's come back to that happy baby pose. Neutralizing low back here. We'll set up for the second side. So stacking your left knee over your right knee. Once again, you could do this on the earth as well. If it feels okay, hug the knees in, catch that bottom knee or shin. You're welcome to come back to windshield wipers as well. It's a little different. Okay. You might stay right here. Or flex your feet, slide your hands down towards your ankles, and draw the heels towards your buttocks. You can play a little bit here. Sometimes it feels good to widen the feet. To me, sometimes it feels good to find a little bit of a lumbar lift. You'll feel something different. You can play. Jaws relaxed. Good. Sending breath into any area of tenderness, tightness. You might stay in this bind or you might unwind. And we'll exhale, knees to the right. You might move your hips a little bit to the left, either beforehand or once you come into the shape. Left arm opening out to the left if that feels good. You're welcome to support with that block here. Good. It's a doozy of a twist. So if it feels too much, unbind the legs. Good. Left shoulder heavy, hand heavy. One more breath, please. Navel to spine as you exhale, either both knees together or one knee at a time. Inhale, come on up. We'll hug the knees back in. We'll come back to that Apanasana we took earlier. So hands on your kneecaps, knees forward as you inhale, and knees hug in as you exhale. If it feels better to rock a little bit from side to side, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay. And then give the knees a nice hug. And for our final posture together this morning, I want to give two options. Either Viparita Karani with the legs straight up to the sky, pelvis is on the floor, or even a blanket. If you want to support underneath your low back with a block, setting up for a restorative bridge, that is a beautiful pose to really engage all bandhas here. So if you are lifting your hips, have your block reachable. I'm going to talk you through this. I'm not going to do it with you. So almost as if you're setting up for a bridge pose, we've done this before. With your head nice and neutral, you'll lift your hips, snuggle that block, either flat or medium, under your sacrum. So just the very tip of the tailbone drapes just off the edge. And once again, if you're not lifting your hips, keep your pelvis on the floor, please. And as you soften in, you might stay there. Or one knee at a time, lift your knees right over your hips, flex or floint your feet, and reach your legs straight up to the sky, 90 degrees. The knees might be soft here, or even bent. Allow the legs to be heavy down into their sockets. And 10 breaths. Arms can stay where they are. Sometimes I like to interlace around the block or goalpost my arms. So shoulder stand, this is a variation of shoulder stand. Really engages Tribandha, all the bandhas here. Such a healthy, nourishing pose. When your pose is done, slowly rebend your knees, pause. 1 foot at a time, touch down. Lift your hips, move that support if that's you. Come on down. And one more time, happy baby. We'll call it the happiest baby. If there's any final movement your body is requesting on the journey to Shavasana, honor that. Maybe you slide support behind your knees or even keep the knees bent here today. But take your time. You might cover the body with a blanket or cover the eyes with an eye pillow or a strap or sock. It's clean. And once again, coming back to this place that we started, can you really allow the earth to receive you here? And if you have any leftover tension, tightness, anything at all, take a nice inhale, draw it up. And out the mouth, let it go. You might do that one more time. And truly rest. Deepening the breath. Just allowing your head to rock to the right for one full breath. And slowly through center to the other side, one full breath. Slowly back to center when you're ready. You might stay resting or wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circling your wrists and your ankles. Stretch and yawn. You might stay here or begin to bend your knees, rolling to a side of your choosing, resting there. And slowly pressing yourself up to a seat for pranayama, a little breath meditation. My favorite pranayama to balance nervous system. There's so many, but so take time to find a nice tall seat. Palms might turn open in Jnana Mudra. Index finger and thumb softly touching. And if you are congested this morning or have a deviated septum, you might stay right here with a nice easy breath. Otherwise, we'll play with alternate nostril breathing. So you'll take your right hand, and you'll fold down your first two fingers, peace fingers, and you'll place your last two fingers just over your left nostril. Right thumb over the right nostril without blocking it yet. So sitting up nice and tall, find a little bit of a Jalandhara Bandha. And then we'll start with the breath. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. We'll block off the right nostril with a thumb. Smooth inhale through left nostril. Blocking and holding all the air in the center. And exhale right. Inhaling right. Blocking and holding. Shoulders relaxed. Exhale left. It's round one. And continuing at your rhythm. About 2 minutes here. The next time you exhale through left nostril, you'll lower the hand down and rest. Bringing palms together at your heart, reconnecting to intention, or perhaps sending love and a beautiful birthday out to Jimmy today. And we'll sing the sound of Om one time together. First, a breath, take a nice inhale. And let it go. Inhale to sing. Om. And together we say, Namaste.